Universal Music Group, also known as UMG, is currently under fire by fans and content creators alike because they are apparently going around and striking people's channels and their Twitter pages for simply sharing clips from Drake's new album, Iceman. Now, multiple users have reported that their X/Twitter page has been struck by UMG. And the fans really just believe that UMG is doing whatever they can do in their power to try to sabotage Drake because, as you know, Drake is in a major feud with his label right now, and he sued them and taken them to court and everything. So it's like the fans really believe that it's solely UMG going after Drake, which I believe is partially true. However, I have a different theory. Now, in some of my other videos, when I have covered topics discussing Jay-Z, Roc Nation, Desiree Perez, that sort of thing, I've talked about how whenever the story came out last year that Demaray Hadley, Desiree Perez's daughter, was suing her for falsely Baker acting her, I'm pretty sure I covered the fact that Desiree and Roc Nation was going around and doing what? Striking people's pages on X/Twitter. They were striking people's pages and having their accounts deleted. In fact, Milagro Grams lost her account because she shared the news clip talking about Demaray's lawsuit against her mother, Desiree. And if you didn't know already, news clips are considered fair use. So you're allowed to use news clips in your social media posts because it's fair use. So, of course, at the time, a lot of people felt very upset because they felt like this is fair use. You guys have no right to be striking our content for sharing news clips. Like, what legal ground do these people have to do that to any content creator at all? So when I'm looking at this situation right now with Iceman and how all of the Drake fans are currently being struck by UMG and having their posts removed, simply discussing and sharing video clips from Drake's music videos as a part of his album, I can't help but think about Roc Nation and Desiree Perez and Jay-Z and how they were giving it up just last year. So I say all that to say that I genuinely believe that the person behind the UMG strikes on Twitter, I think it's Jay-Z. In my opinion, I think that Jay-Z has a lot to do with that. Yes, UMG played their part and they would have an interest in going against Drake and pulling clips down. Yeah, but I think phone calls were made, complaints were made, and I think it has Jay-Z's name written all over it. So I know you're probably thinking like, well, what the hell does Jay-Z have to do with any of this? Like, why would he have an interest in taking Drake's content off of Twitter? I'll tell you why. In my opinion, Jay-Z is very upset about them motherfucking lyrics. And if you're wondering like, well, why would he be upset about Drake lyrics? Bro, that entire album was like 90% of the time was Drake going the fuck in on Jay-Z. I don't care what anyone says. These people will get on the internet and lie to you guys and tell you, no, that's not what that was. He was talking about so and so and so. Bullshit. Most of that album, Drake was going the fuck in on Jay-Z. And Drake went in on Jay so bad to the point where like the traditional hip hop media outlets, they won't even touch it. They're not even talking about all of the things that he said. They're not talking about all of his lyrics. It's like they're only cherry picking certain parts from certain songs and then acknowledging that. But it's like they're not acknowledging everything that was said. It's very obvious that things are being swept under the rug and people are like purposely looking the other way. But that's why I'm here, because I'm going to talk about the real shit, the shit that the traditional media, they're too scared to talk about because I don't give a fuck. I've noticed that the traditional media and the podcasters and the bigger platforms that have a little money behind them, I've noticed that it seems like the only disses, like Jay-Z disses that they're actually acknowledging are from Janice STFU, where Drake is like, we know how you OGs are rocking already. My nigga, the jig is up. They keep referencing that bar. And I think there's like one other bar that was directed at Jay-Z that's very, very like surface level. And it seems like those are the only two bars that they're talking about. That to me is just so disappointing as a music fan, because I feel like as a fan, we want to get into the nitty gritty. We want raw commentary. Like, we want to break down the lyrics, talk about the wordplay, the double, the triple entendres. Like, let's really get into everything that's being discussed. Let's get into everything that he's saying. And it's like the fact that people are willing to just look past certain things and glaze over it, I feel like it takes away from, it just takes away from the overall music review. It's like, how can I take you seriously as a reviewer of music, as a podcaster, or as a hip hop media outlet? And it's like, you're not even acknowledging everything that was said. That's disappointing to me. I think that is so unfair to the fans, and it's unfair to the artists, because it's like you're not giving them all the credit that they're supposed to get. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't understand why this is happening. I believe, in my opinion, that this is happening because people are afraid of Rock Nation and they're afraid of Jay-Z, and they don't want to piss them off because they don't want to deal with what comes with it. They don't want to deal with the harassment, the retaliation, possibly losing their platform, losing their channel, their pages, getting fired. People are scared. They're too scared. That's the problem. People are too afraid. But like I said, that's why I'm here, because I want to talk about a song off of Iceman very specifically. There's a very specific part of that song that had my ears perked up. So me personally, I believe that there were multiple tracks where not only was Drake taking shots at Jay-Z, but he was actually threatening not only Jay-Z, but his wife, Beyoncè. Beyoncè was getting threatened on that album. I don't care what anybody says. Don't let these people lie to you. He was talking about Beyoncè on a very popular song, and I'm going to tell you what song it was. On the song Bees on the Table featuring 21 Savage, Drake says, "I got a whole lot of names and dates and pictures of faces saved for whenever the right time and place is. Just trust me, I know there's bees on the table, bees on the table, bees on the table, bees on the table." In my opinion, bees on the table is a double entendre, because when he says bees on the table, he's talking about billions on the table, because this song is, a lot of it is directed at his label, and it basically is talking about how he kind of felt disrespected, or felt like the offer should be a lot more than whatever it is, because there's billions on the table. What does billions on the table mean? It means that there's a lot of money at stake, a lot of money up for grabs. When someone says there's something on the table, that means that there is something being put up for offering for the take. So my thing is like, why would he say, I have names, dates, pictures of faces, people saved for the right time? Trust me, I know there's bees on the table. In my opinion, bees on the table does not just mean there's billions on the table, like billions of dollars on the table. He's saying bees on the table, as in Beyoncé is on the table. I believe that that bar was a very, very clear and direct threat to both Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Furthermore, in his song, Too Hard for the Radio, he takes another shot at both Jay-Z and Beyoncé. He says, damn, y'all was really island hopping back then. Huh, now y'all names got redacted. Yeah, now a nigga got a fact check. What? Yeah, and I'm on the west like the Pac 10. Yeah, I'm fucking power couples up. Yeah, acting like you love marrying your wife. You boys need to worry about a jury in your life. So this part here is clearly Drake making a reference to Jay-Z being in the Epstein files, because he is in fact in the Epstein files, and he's actually been accused of being present with Harvey Weinstein during a sexual assault back in 1996. So the fact that Drake is saying y'all was island hopping back then, now y'all names got redacted. He's saying that you got your name redacted out of certain paperwork to try to cover your track. So when Drake mentioned certain people's names being redacted, it reminded me of a story that came out maybe last year or the year before. And I'm going to read this summary. It says, in the high-profile civil lawsuits filed against Sean Diddy Combs by accusers, Celebrity A refers to Jay-Z, Sean Carter. The original lawsuit from October 2024 initially kept both stars' names anonymous. In a December 2024 amended filing, Jay-Z was officially named as Celebrity A. The lawsuits allege that both Jay-Z and Diddy sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl at an MTV Video Music Awards after party in the year 2000. The identity of Celebrity B, a female star who allegedly witnessed the incident, remains unknown and unconfirmed in public legal documents. Now, I'm not a psychic, I'm not a rap music expert, and I'm not Drake, so I can't explain everything that has come into his mind. But if I had to just take a wild guess, if Jay-Z is being named in a lawsuit, but he's being referred to as Celebrity A because his name was redacted, who the fuck do you think Celebrity B is? In my personal opinion, Celebrity B is and was Beyoncé. However, like Drake said, her name was ultimately redacted from the lawsuit and it never saw the light of day. Remember, the only reason why we even found out that Celebrity A was Jay-Z was because he came forward publicly going at Tony Busby, the dude that was representing this 13-year-old girl. He was going at Tony Busby, the lawyer, and he did so publicly. That's the only way we found out who Celebrity A was. So that's why I'm saying, like, if we have to make an educated guess as to who the fuck Celebrity B is, I think it's pretty obvious that Beyoncé would be Celebrity B, which would also indicate that she could have been involved or was around or present when an alleged sexual assault took place. And let me be clear, I'm not stating that as fact, and I'm not saying that's factually what happened. I'm just saying that's what's being implied per the lawsuit. So it's just like when Drake is talking about celebrities and people getting their names redacted, he's talking about J&B. Last but not least, the song Shebang. In my opinion, I believe he was also threatening Jay-Z. He says in the song, 40 what's up shebang, all my ops they diss. What am I now possessed? How do I feel though? Refreshed. Secrets I know got you stressed. Will I take those to my death? Haven't decided just yet. Then he says, 40 what's up shebang, all of my ops they diss. Please don't put me to the test. They trying to get back on the net. I'm trying to get back in the flesh. I don't know exactly what kind of receipts or tea Drake has, but he has made it very clear in multiple songs that he knows something. He knows something, and it's like he's waiting for the right time to spill the tea, but it's like he's not doing it just yet. But he's like giving a warning. That's why he's saying, please don't put me to the test. Secrets I know got you stressed. Like there's something that he has. So it's like the question is he talking to his label or is he talking to Jay-Z, or could he be talking to both? Me personally, I think that he's talking about Jay-Z because if you remember, Jay-Z just did an interview with GQ magazine, and in the interview, he was kind of backtracking a little bit, and he was pretty much saying that he wanted the hip hop culture to kind of move away from rap beef because he felt like it was really negative, or whatever his excuse was. He was just saying that he felt like it was negative, so he wanted to move away from focusing on the beef. And then he was kind of cop and please about the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl thing. He was like, yeah, Kendrick had a monster year. That's why I booked him, because he had a monster year. All while not acknowledging that Kendrick only had a monster year because he dissed Drake and called him a PDF, you know? So when that Jay-Z GQ interview dropped, a lot of people, including myself, were saying that the only reason why Jay-Z is sitting on that interview trying to walk everything with Drake back is because at the time he knew that Iceman was getting ready to come out, and it's like he was trying to get ahead of whatever it was that Drake was going to say. In my opinion, I feel like he was afraid of Drake doing what he obviously did. You know, he was afraid of Drake exposing him and spilling his tea. That's why I believe that a lot of the threats and the shots that Drake was taking throughout the album on multiple tracks were directed towards Jay. To me, it's very obvious that he's talking to Jay-Z and Beyoncé majority of this album. Did he diss other artists like A$AP Rocky, Rihanna, DJ Khaled, J. Cole, Kendrick, etc.? Absolutely. But I think a lot of those disses, a lot of them acted as double and triple entendres, especially with Bees on the Table. Bees on the Table could be taken in multiple different ways. And also, I don't know if I said this already or not, but the song Janice STFU, I believe Janice is Jay-Z. Like, Drake is basically calling Jay-Z a bitch. Like, Janice, shut the fuck up. Like, Jay-Z, shut the fuck up. You know. Also, the song Dust by Drake, I believe that song he's also taking shots at Jay-Z, because Drake says, go blow the dust off your plaques. What? Go blow the dust off your plaques. What? Go blow the dust off your plaques. What was the year they say you had slaps? Because I don't remember it going like that. I don't remember nothing about them raps. I don't remember nothing being facts. Let's go. So I took this as basically Drake telling Jay-Z, like, when the fucking last time you had slaps? I don't remember none of your raps, nigga. You're an old ass dinosaur. Like, I don't remember none of your shit. Go blow the fucking dust off your shit, you old ass dinosaur. So at the end of the day, the whole point of this video was for me to really kind of just point out some of the lyrics that I feel like the mainstream hip hop media outlets, they are not talking about. So I wanted to kind of break that down and bring some attention to it, because I really just don't think that it's fair to the hip hop fans, to the music fans, to Drake fans, to only cherry pick certain things and only point out lyricism in certain context, but not in the context of when he's coming at Jay-Z. I don't think that's fair. So that, and also I really wanted to point out that I don't believe that it's just UMG solely attacking Drake or trying to sabotage his rollout. I think that 100% Jay-Z and Roc Nation have something to do with that. And also, before I conclude this video, I just want to go ahead and give Drake a huge congratulations, because Iceman moved 463,000 copies first week. Yes, 463,000 copies first week. And he also outsold Kendrick Lamar's GNX, which only moved about 325,000 copies first week. And not only did he do that, but he swept the Billboard charts, because he simultaneously charted the top 3 positions for 3 albums. So Iceman, Habibti, I like to call it Habibi, but that's not what it's called, and Maid of Honor. So all 3 of those albums are occupying the top 3 positions on the Billboard 200, and he's the first artist ever in history of the Billboard chart to do this. Amazing feat. And not only that, but ironically, he broke his tie with Jay-Z for the most #1 albums by a rapper in history. So I'm telling y'all, bro, don't let Jay-Z and his fucking followers and his dick suckers lie to y'all, bro. I know that nigga, like, his face is fucking melting off right now. That dude is feeling some type of way, because in my opinion, just as a commentator, as an observer, I feel like Jay-Z is a world-renowned fucking hater. He can't stand to see anyone else doing better than him, breaking his records. He's always in the cut trying to sabotage someone, trying to cut off their opportunities. He always doing little petty shit to try to get at people that he doesn't like. So the fact that Drake came through and broke his record and really just whacked him all up and down this album, it just, it just gives me just great pleasure. It really does. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that right there. I will be coming back tomorrow because I have an update on the Desiree Perez and Demaray Hadley case. So if you want to see what my update is, make sure you come back tomorrow to my page. I'm going to try to upload sometime in the afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Famous Girl TV, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.